Giving these a quick scrub, bottom and top, and you see looking very, very ginger. I think these are not going to come out without a bit of a fight. Let's give her a go. Let's give it a go. Nope, sufficiently stuck. Let's try the big guns. Hopefully you can see that. Nope. Great. Rounded. So I just had to cheat and go and grab some new sockets from a local motor factors. 24 quid for all these 1/2 inch 10mm all the way up to 24mm. I say 18mm on the top, 16mm on that bottom one there. So just already cheated slightly and cracked her off. You can see this or not now. Cracked off there. Oh, Christ, I still bloody tight. The joys of ginger bolts. Just go get another jack, just take the preload off. Top bolt out. So I was going to say, got it on a jack, just take the preload off, and now we'll try cracking off that bottom one. Suffice to say, I'm not looking forward to that one. I'm going to lay you flat. 16mm. Much to my surprise, that the rubber bush, despite it being rather ginger on the bottom, is pretty bloody solid, and it's looking pretty tidy underneath as well. So that's a pleasant surprise. I thought I might have to go buy some new bloody buy some new bolts, or new bushings rather. Just take the preload off again. One shock absorber removed, and again, no nasty surprises. However, you see, probably the source of the knocking from the back is the state of that bush. Look at how cracked and perished it is. But if I can compress it down. There's resistance there. But you can see how slow that's coming out. Suffice to say, she's past her best, let alone with that. So one old shock off. Thank God for that. Much to my surprise, the new shock absorber has actually come with some new bottom mounts instead, slightly different to the original one. Looks like you put one setup like that through the bottom, and then another one like that from the top, such. So try setting you down somewhere now where you can see what's actually going on. Although I put my greasy fingers all over the camera lens. That's better. Hopefully you can see what I'm going to be doing now. 2 giving us some large then. So I've already compressed the shock absorber 4 or 5 times, allowed it to travel back out, and it's working sweet. So hopefully now get it in place before. There we are, plenty of time. Plenty of time. So hopefully you can see this. That's somewhere near now. Just jack up the control arm just to line up the bolt hole. One. Sort that one up in a moment. Yeah. And then hopefully that should. Probably gonna have to jack it up a bit more actually. One shock absorber bolted up, and I haven't torqued them up, but what I'll do is in the screen I'll include the torque figure specs where I'm highlighting. So torque figure specs as follows for this one, and torque figure specs for this one as follows. One side down, 3 to go. There we go. 85 Newton meters. Lovely job. I hope you could see how ginger that was again then. Cover the camera in rusty dust. Yeah, so ginger, although the inside's nice and clean. I had to cheat and get the rattle gun on there. Oh god, this one's even worse than the other side. Wait till you see this one. Oh. Jesus. Yeah, I reckon I could near enough push that pin out by hand. That is suitably buggered. shock absorber mounts are alright, a little bit ginger in front like, but nothing too sinister eyed in there, I don't think. Give it a quick clean, just pop the new one in. Try and get this one from start to finish. Wash it down. Loads of motocross boys coming past now, making good loads of racket. Good on them. Just gonna compress it. That must be about 15 motorbikes just went past then. Tell you what, it's a lot harder to compress the shock absorber in this position than the old one. Goes to show you how knackered the old one was. I've just wedged the shock absorber against the chassis. Hopefully you can see what I've done there. 17 now. Aftermarket ones are all different sizes, but luckily they're more common, 17mm as opposed to 16 and 18, so life is a bit easier. Hopefully you see that funny triangle plane there. Flip you upside down. The phone is determined to fall over, but I shall not be defeated. There we go, that's one. Bloody hell. Another 8 or so crosses going down the road. The joys of living out in the sticks. There we go, that clicks then, sound. And that's the other shock absorber done. Well, since replacing the rear shock absorber, she's lifted about an inch, maybe inch and a half. Beforehand, I'd be able to get the rear of that van just underneath that, underneath the lean-to there, and now there's no chance it'll go under. Like you can see the height difference there now. So, but not only that, beforehand you didn't even have to really jump up and down on the back end of the van to get it to go up and down about 6 inches, but yeah, hopefully, just turn the torch off. See what I'm on about now when I jump up and down on the back of it now. That's me literally jumping up and down on the back of the van. Now, that's what it was like before. If I did that, I'd get about 6 inches of movement, whereas now, barely budging. It's another day. I had to go do some other errands, so I had to knock on the head early yesterday. So we've got the wheels off. I've already cleaned the bottom shock bolts and lubed everything up just to try and make everything a bit easy to get in and out of. No one I can't do much for at the moment, like so. And the same for the other side. So, like I say, wire brushed everything off, cleaned everything off, and suitably ginger bolts again up top here. So now we're going to crack the rattler on them again. Oh, there we go. broke there. Ooh. That's warm. There you go. One pin removed. I know there's always going to be a little bit of play, but that's taking the biscuit, that is. She's definitely past her best. If I had enough guns in me, I dare say I'd be able to pull that out by hand. I've already cheated and cracked that off the spanner. Quite awkward access there. You've got to put the steering, as you can see, on full right turn here in order to get a ratchet or a spanner in there, because your steering boot is in the way. There we go. That silly bugger clamp out the way. Oh, and one. Yeah. It's worn heavily on this side here. It's worn out of alignment, as you can see. Very, very worn out of alignment. So, should be definitely past her best. Skeggy camera again. That's better. So what I've actually done here now, just to give myself a bit more of a fighting chance, because it's so shitty here, is I've ground the face flat, and then I've drilled a little pilot hole. So me, wherever I've put it now, my little gear polish set has a chance of biting actually into it and not slipping. It's got a tip on there, like, it's not the best. Some of the threads are a bit chewed, but we'll give it a go on here now. Found another bearing bullet. Hopefully the threads don't strip out on this one. There we go. Hellfire. One anti-roll bar link off. Yeah. She's a bit cracked and perished. Time to get the old ones out now. I'm sure this is going to be a world of fun, this. Old bush out. To be honest, I'm not going to bother replacing the bottom one, with it being a net elastic one, and that rubber is rock hard, to be fair. That's just like the impression from where it's been pressed against the wishbone, I think. But that is pretty bloody solid, so I'm actually going to fit the top one. Well, it's another day. Today we're going to be tackling that anti-roll bar link, that old D-bush in there, and replacing this shock absorber. Now, I replaced the drive shaft on this sometime this summer, so obviously I had to get the shock absorber off, so hopefully it shouldn't be too much of a fight. But the other side, which I didn't get much in the way of footage of because it was such a battle, this shock absorber mounting nut here and the retaining stud, if you will, spun. So I ended up having to wedge a screwdriver in there, in that tiny little gap there, hammered it in just to stop the bugger spinning. So I've already had them off not that long ago, so hopefully they won't put up too much of a fight. So I've set about now just unbolting the anti-roll bar link and the shock absorber. Just going to jack up the hub now, so the camera will probably wobble a bit. There we go. Just to take the load off that bolt. One shock bolt out. So I obviously ground flat that face and drilled a little pilot for the gear puller to centre onto. See, we've got it on here now. I'm not expecting this to come off first time now, right? But I'll try, and if not, I'll just cut to when it's been taken off. Because I dare say there'll be a lot of profanity said, so I'll set you down now and give it a try. But you hopefully get the idea after this, hopefully. See what I mean? The gear puller actually slipped out of the countersink then, plus you hopefully sort of get the idea, so I'll probably just cut now to when I've eventually got it off. It's off, suitably knackered, split on the inside, and it's been split for a while by the looks of things. So what we'll do now is get a pair of screwdrivers on the wood bench and then pop out the old one. Hopefully get into here now. Here she comes. And there's the old one out. Ripped on the inside and has been rotten for some time, that. Nothing to do with me pulling it off. That's been gone for some time, so I'll clean that up with a bit of Scotch-Brite now. A little bit rusty on the inside as well, so need to clean that up, otherwise the bush will bind inside there as we're trying to fit the new one in. It's a bit cleaner now, so we'll get some silicone lubricant in there, lube up and then pop the new one in. So inside here we've got the rubber bush. It's been sitting inside the boiling water now for about 5 to 10 minutes. I warmed it up in gentle warm water first, boil the kettle, then put it in boiling hot water. So what I'll do now is come over here. We got some super duper slippy silicone grease now. It's unbelievably slippy stuff, this, so to aid smooth operation, pop that in there. Like I say, we've Scotch-Brighted the inside of it, and this stuff doesn't dry out, thankfully, unlike GT85. And now get the bush out of here, and then hopefully you should press in by hand. Should hopefully press in by hand. Put the cup on there just in case it falls off. Once you've got it started and get the rib in like that, it's just as easy as that. Now whilst it's warm, we're going to go back over to the anti-roll bar now and try and slip it on before it cools down too much. Same principle again. There we are. That is one anti-roll bar link on, and very, very stiff compared to what was on there before. I could move it backwards and forwards about an inch before, whereas now it's not moving at all. That, so one anti-roll bar link pushed on. Getting this anti-roll bar bush clamp mount off now. It's 16mm, quite tight for access. You can see that we've got the steering wheel locked all the way over to the left to give us a bit better access. And hopefully I've GT85 the back side of it. There we go. That was actually a bit less tighter than I thought. I started off and then hopefully I'll be able to undo it by hand. because I've GT85 the hell out of the backside of it. You can get through the backside there with a long straw on the GT85 or WD-40 or likes there, and grease or lubricate the backside of the retaining bolt. Hopefully now, yep, as you see, it comes off by hand in the way a bit, but you improvise, adapt and overcome, and you can just about get it out with very basic tools, just like an open-ended spanner. It's quite surprising really how clean it is inside that subframe given the state of the outside of the subframe. So now comes the bolt. Now you have to do a little bit more manipulation and messing about. Now I appreciate you can't see a great deal because there's no real great angle. You can get in here with a camera and hands in the way. Just try and spin that gate about a bit. Just the cable tie or the clamp is in the way a bit. You get it so far. So what I've actually done to improve access is just got the cable tie off the steering rack gaiter. You push it all the way back, try and keep the flat side up against there as much as you possibly can, and then eventually it pops off like that, and then you've got full access to getting the bush out. Then she might be resting a little bit against the subframe, but there's the old bush, suitably wonky, really wonky and worn. Yeah, it's been rubbing on the inside as well, so that is suitably ovaled and ready to drop out. We'll go grab the new bush now. And here's old versus new. You can quite clearly see that that bush is ovaled on the left. There's not only that back arse nice and square, whereas that one's suitably wonky and worn as well. So got the new one here ready and waiting, we'll pop it on. So as you can see, we've sort of got the clamp sort of resting against the steering rack gaiter now. Got my new bush, put a nice coating of the old silicone grease on there just to aid smooth operation again. It should be enough. Famous last words. In fact, take the bolt out of there, just stop it wobbling about, but you should see we've got enough free play and wobble to hopefully, there we go, slip that on the back. Get her sort of somewhere near. There we go. You can see how much of a tighter fit it is just based by the opening on the back, whereas the other one had gone quite closed up, so she'll be certainly tighter. And then it's quite simply pop it down there. You've got enough wiggle room there. There's the 16mm bolt is around here somewhere. And we found the 16mm bolt. Get her in so far by hand, and then obviously you've got to crank it down with socket, spanner, whatever you've got. So, snap my gloves. I'm just going to get a 16mm out the socket set now. We've got sufficient wiggle room. Not 100% what the torque figures are, so I'll inquire with me manual, and then I'll include the torque figure as indicated below in the corner of the footage. And then we unbolt this shock absorber on the top mounts here. They're both 18mm. Like I say, they should hopefully come off easier because I had them off to do the drive shaft not long back. Famous last words. Very famous last words. Stop. I say slip them off hopefully. Well, a little bit tighter than I thought. And then I'm just going to cheat now and get a rattle with the wobble joint on just to make it a bit quicker. As like I say, I've already cracked them off, so hopefully it should come off. One. I've cracked off this one already, so that should just come off now. There we are, one shock absorber out. Quite ginger, the old mountain plate, but still solid enough. I think these are a 17mm on the top, so just pop a little bit GT85 on there just to aid smooth operating. I think the top bolts are 17s, 16 maybe. I know my aftermarket one's a 17, 16. Same again now, going to cheat, saves having to lock the body off hopefully. That's the nut off. And we lift the plate off. Like you say, you've got a bush inside there which is suitably gone, and then this shock absorber, whilst it doesn't look too bad, so if we compress it, let's compress it now. Once I've got some footing, push it down relatively easy. That's maxed out, and you can see that the shock absorber is just staying put. It's a gas shock absorber, so that should come out on its own, but as you can see it's doing next to nothing. It's suitably gone, that, so that's a dead shock. Yeah, nothing at all. She's well and truly dead. Now is we've got the rubber buffer there. There's a rubber buffer underneath and another one of these washers that sits on top of the shock. Top of the shock. So pop on the nylock nut now. 17mm aftermarket. Ah, not silly, VW size 16. And then we'll hopefully help you have the right socket on. Not an 18, no wonder why it wasn't going on. So like I say, we've got a 17mm on the rattler, again 17mm nylock nut. We've got the new rubber buffers on underneath and the washers on top and on bottom of the mount. Yep. She's nearly there. We don't want to crush it into oblivion, just as long as it's nip tight there like that. That's ready to go back on, and yep, she's not too loose, so we're going to slip her back on now. It's the 18mm out again now. The extension bar. And now we're going to slip the new shock and mount back in place. It's, I say, 18mm. One. One, and then the rattler on again. On, whilst we do up the other. And what I'll do again is off video, I'll torque it up and I shall include the torque specs for this one down below here and to this one down below here. Right, and now we'll pop the bolt back in through the back. The bolt goes in through the back, and then the nut on the other side. Just got to jack up a touch more. Hopefully, should be somewhere near now. Still got to jack it up a touch more. What's that? Cap the nut on the back. Bit of GD85 again for the smooth operation. And then it's a 21mm deep, or 21mm impact, either end. Get that one there, 21mm spanner is here. 21mm spanner on one end, rattler on the other. suitably tight and sat on. And again, what I'll do is I'll include the torque figures down below for the shock absorber mounting bolts. And what you do is you torque it up with load applied, otherwise you'll get what's known as a condition called bush binding, and it'll wear out your bushes prematurely. So we've took her up to a local beauty spot out in the middle of nowhere after taking her for a bit of a drive, and suffice to say that she is riding much happier now. The height has dropped ever so slightly, but the back is still very high, as you can see. There ain't no finger gap there, you could get a foot in there. That's near enough about an 8-inch gap. Yes, bit of ginger metal around the arches, that'll be sorted out in good time, but as it goes, very happy with the ride. What I'll do now is take you down some quite rough old roads, and you can hear how quiet the van actually rides, where all you'll be able to hear is road noise because the tyres are getting a little bit low on tread. So I'll hand you over to my assistant in a moment, and we'll go for a bit of a drive. Like I say, we're out in the middle of nowhere in a local beauty spot, and we're just going down some quite lumpish roads in places. Actually, I must say, welcome to inside the van, because I believe this is the first time I've actually brought you in the van, so you get to have a bit of a feel of what it's like, what it sounds like as well. The old 1.9 TDABL. I've managed to put 2,000 miles on it now, actually, and it's running really nicely, burning minimal amount of oil. Got a little bit of an oil leak from it and whatnot, but yes, as you can hear, it's quite a healthy sounding engine. Flat as, not much power in it. 67 horsepower, but it pulls like you'd expect with 67 horse. And it handles surprisingly well now after doing the shock absorbers. Probably more to do with the tyres and being low profile, but as you can hear, there is no knocking or banging whatsoever in this van. She's riding the road really nicely. Very pleased with the outcome. Minimal body roll, absolutely minimal body roll. See, we're pressing on round the bends now, and she's doing surprisingly well. You know, for what is a 22-year-old van, stockish suspensions on 18-inch wheels with some relatively low profile, half decent tyres. It's surprising, really. It's very surprising. But there we are. It's been a pleasure once again, and hopefully it won't be long till we have another episode. But next time round, hopefully we are going to detail the van, give it a thorough wash and a decontamination. So I shall hope to see you all very soon. If you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe button as well. So I'll see you all very soon.